Hi everyone, a very good afternoon to you and welcome to the Styrian region of Austria. We are here in Spielberg for round 3 of the brilliant Ferrari Challenge Europe. Delighted that you can join us for the 30-minute plus 1 lap race of our Ferrari Challenge Copa Shell drivers and cars, some 23 of them that will be taken to the track shortly. There is our formal welcome then to this extraordinary track. It's one of the smaller tracks that we go to, which is interesting as we look at our calendar for 2026, because from here we go to the longest track that we go to, certainly for 2026, when we will be in support 2 times of the Le Mans 24-hour race. Then it's Portimao, Budapest, and of course Barcelona at the Circuit de Catalunya. That's the way the 2026 calendar has shaped up. Another great calendar brought to you by the Corsa Clienti team of Ferrari. Track temperature is 19 degrees. The air temperature is 11 degrees. Can I just say, the weather conditions that we are experiencing here in Spielberg are nothing today like was predicted. It was supposed to be pretty much heavy-duty rain darn near all day, but that is not the case at the moment, which I'm pleased to say. As we look at the 175 car of the Penske Sportwagen Hamburg driver, Sven Schirmer, who won the Copa Shell AM Championship last year and has been elevated to Copa Shell for this season. He's a Copa Shell driver. You can tell that because of the yellow strip across the top of the windscreen. If our driver has a black strip across the top of the windscreen, that means they're a Shell AM driver. But also a Shell driver is Ernst Kirchmayr for Kessel Racing, who is Austrian and has come here and put it on pole position. David Fuminelli alongside him, their driver coach, just offering words of advice to Ernst Kirchmayr ahead of the start of this 30-minute plus 1 lap race. It's very much a home gig for Ernst Kirchmayr. And whilst none of us were surprised by his P1 in qualifying, I don't think any one of us would be surprised if he's able to convert that pole position into the race win. But there are some 22 other drivers and 30 minutes plus 1 lap where an awful lot can happen. And this is the Ferrari Challenge, and therefore, often it does. Tibor Valint, driver of car number 132. Now, his son, Bens Valint, who is a really, really talented young driver who competed in the Ferrari Challenge, has gone off to have a fantastic career driving prototypes right now. But his father, Tibor, is in the Ferrari Challenge and has been for a number of years. This is Alwar Mehr, the Gome Motorsport Engstler driver, who goes from P14 in his Copa Shell AM race. I remind you, Copa Shell, final kiss of good luck. Remind you, Copa Shell AM with the black stripe across the top of the windscreen and yellow for the Shell drivers. Andrea Fausti is one of our driver coaches there, and he's working with Charles Chan for Formula Racing. He drives the 133 car, which is unique down there of the 296 Challenge cars because of its matte blue appearance. And also unique is the 177 car of Fons Skeltermar, the shark's teeth. Fons Skeltermar, famed for those shark's teeth, which adorn not only his car, but the crash helmet and his luggage, clothing, race suit, the whole gamut has shark's teeth about it. Fons Skeltermar, who had a good qualifying today, qualified P3 in class, and that's P3 overall. So I mentioned then the Spielberg circuit, 4.3 kilometers, 10 turns. 3 are left, 7 are right, and a huge elevation change, some 64 meters from the start-finish line up to turn 3. It's a remarkable track, which I love very much. And we come here. Let's find out a bit more about it right now.
Hello, my name is Alois Meyer. I drive the Ferrari 296 Challenge for Team Engstler Motorsport. Follow me for a lap at the Spielberg ring. So, let's go. Here it's mandatory to use the slipstream if possible in the race. Keep on the left. Use the full and 3rd gear, uphill, push, push, push. Now hard braking, 2nd gear. Brake at 150, Now we use the curb, third gear, fourth gear. Here we push full. It is important to push hard to take the speed on the straight. Fifth gear, sixth gear. Very fast right, downhill. Over the curb, now last corner on the straight to the finish line. Push, push, push.
Huge thank you to Alwas Meyer then taking us for a high-speed lap around this circuit, which is about an hour from Graz. We're maybe 2 hours and a half from Vienna and 2 hours 25 or so from Salzburg. It's the Styria region, which is mountainous and is known for its wine, spas, castles and brilliant racing from the Ferrari Challenge here at this circuit as well. So we take a look at Karl Runefeld then, the outer roper racing driver of car number 181. Car number 181 then, keep an eye on that particular car. And there's Ernst Kirchmayr then, the final stages of preparation before this 30-minute plus one-lap race. As is always the case with the Ferrari Challenge, it's a rolling start. The cars will be led away by the safety car. Safety car will peel into the pit lane. It will be the responsibility of Ernst Kirchmayr and Tibor Valint side by side to control the pace of the rolling start, and then the race will be on. Sven Schirmer will be hoping to make moves in the early stages of the race in that 175 car. There's a great drone shot of our paddock here at Spielberg circuit. And it is, I mean, I love the circuit because of its extraordinary backdrop of beautiful mountains. So it is terribly scenic as we see the von Skeltermark car being taken into the pit lane, I would suggest. So, whatever, von Skeltermark not making the start. Last time out, we were, of course, in Tuscany, in Mugello, at the Mugello circuit, and Sven Schirmer meant to business. So too did Tibor Valint. As these cars head towards turn number 1 at the Mugello circuit, and you can see, trying to go all the way around the outside is Eric Chung. Eric Chung doing a brilliant job. He's already a race winner this year, and one or two drivers would find the grass was a little bit slippery and could propel you into the barriers. And you can see plenty of overtakes going on, and there was a moment there for Eric Chung, but Sven Schirmer was victorious in race 1 for the Shell drivers. And as they lined up for the second race of the weekend in Tuscany, Tibor Valint with a blistering start in the Ferrari Challenge. But as you can see from being on board with Eric Chung, a lot going on mid-order in the grid. Sven Schirmer and Tibor Valint side by side. It was a brilliant overtake from Sven Schirmer. Lisa Clark found the gravel trap, but Tibor Valint was not done, and he was going to try and go all the way around the outside through turn number 1. Almost impossible. Not for him. He made it work, and there you could see Sven Schirmer and Tibor Valint fighting right until the checkered flag. It was an awesome weekend in Mugello. We're back here in Spielberg right now in Austria, as we have seen the von Skeltermark car that was going from the second row of the grid taken off into the pit lane. Alongside me is my German television colleague, and that is Oliver Fendel. Welcome into the broadcast booth here in Austria. Great to have you alongside.
Welcome, thank you very much. Great pleasure to join you again, to have the chance to follow the race here, and could never be in a better place to be.
You're absolutely right. We are about to get the race underway. They'll be led away by the safety car then for one formation lap, and then let's go racing. So race start about to get underway then, and we have 22 cars about to do battle. And sure enough, we can see the safety car, off it goes, and the cars then follow into turn number 1. Which is you run uphill here before the right-hander, and it's something of a pinch point here at the red runoff area, you can see, which a lot of drivers use. The Spielberg circuit here, as they now are onto the area where they go through the little kink, which is called turn 2. But now, here is the safety car going through turn 3. Lisa Clark going from P23 on the grid. We're bringing the grid in full with Khaled Boudai. Great to see him here. P22 alongside P21. Ken Sato and Tommy Lindrath are on the 10th row of the grid. To the 9th row, where we find Leon Rindbeek and Dr. Stephen Earle. To the 8th row, and it's Giuseppe Ramelli and Fritz Muller. They are going from P16 and P15. It's Henrik Kamstrup and Shintaro Akatsu, then 14 and 13 on the 7th row of our grid. Alexei Komarov and Masaru Yaneda. He was very quick in the early part of qualifying. Paolo Scudieri and Boris Gideon. Great job done by the team to get Boris Gideon's car back out there on track after an off during quali. It's Karl Runefeld and Eric Chung, and they are just behind Jean Roux and Charles Chan, going from P6 and P5. Sven Schirmer and Fons Skelterma we think is missing, but Sven Schirmer isn't, and Tibor Valint certainly isn't, and Ernst Kirkmeyer going from pole position. 129.323. Let's hear from our pole sitter right now.
Happy for the pole position. The conditions was quite tricky because yesterday raining and dry and it was not totally clear the line, but thanks God a good delivery, and I'm very happy because it's my home race in Spielberg, and as we know it's always very difficult to stay on pole at the home race and also maybe to win the race. So now in a good position, and I hope I will make a great race and maybe win or at the podium.
Oliver, he's put the pressure on himself already and said he's determined to win the race.
But to defend himself I don't think that we have a more experienced driver here in this field at this track, because he mentioned that it is the home race and he will show us that he will know every corner, every stone and every curb.
You're right, every centimetre of tarmac is familiar to him as the car's round the final turn then and head down towards the lighting gantry, which we'll throw to the top of the screen for you so that you can see when the lights go out. I can confirm the Fons Skelterma car is back in the garage, so he is not even starting from the pit lane. Let's go racing then. The race is on. And you can see that Tibor Valint is going to try and have a go around the outside, but now he'll try and get underneath the car of Ernst Kirkmeyer, but Kirkmeyer doing a good job. Sven Schirmer also trying to get up the road, but doesn't want to leave himself vulnerable to Charles Chan, Jean Roux, and those other drivers. You can see there is the 177 car as we split the screen. It is tucked away in the garage, so disaster, unfortunately, for Fons Skelterma, who's not able to take the race. Charles Chan looking lively. As well, Ernst Kirkmeyer then, he converted that pole position into the race lead. We've gone through turn 3, we're heading towards turn 4 right now, and that is the start of the roller coaster of this Spielberg circuit, because, Oliver Fendel, you start running downhill now. The pressure to keep the car within the white lines is difficult.
Yeah, and it's also not only difficult, it's really focused, demanding side of the track, because you have to focus on the back, the cars behind you, and on the track as well, because there are some bumps where you, when you brake, the car gets a bit nervous, and then you have to control this as well. And this in the early stage of the race with a cold tire.
Yes.
With you trying to get in the rhythm as soon as possible, and then some of the drivers who really want to take the advantage to attack at this moment already.
We were looking at a battle going on for P9 and P10 between Paolo Scudieri and Boris Gideon. I have to say, it's really, really good to see Boris Gideon back out on track. The Riller and Schnaut driver had an off during qualifying earlier on today through just a really innocuous mistake, just getting one wheel onto a more slippery part of the track. It spat him around and threw the car into the barriers, which really does indicate just the integral safety of these wonderful 296 Challenge cars. It's good to see him back out on track and competing in this race and running very well, I have to say. You can just see Boris Gideon now and Paolo Scudieri side by side. Been told that the start is under investigation. That will be for no other reason, I suspect, than maybe a driver or two not running through their grid box, which is part of the start procedure. Even though it's a rolling start, you are supposed to run with at least 2 of your wheels through the grid box, which you would have started from if it was a standing start, Oliver.
Yeah, but it's a normal situation that you will review the start procedure, because exactly why this could happen. And here you see on the right side. There's one.
I think it was Paolo
really,
Scudieri.
yeah, really wide on the right line. Yeah, that's something you have to review and then maybe to give a small penalty for this, because at this early stage of the race, it will not bring you this big advantage.
Well,
but the rules are rules.
Rules are rules, and certainly race control will take a look at that. Great onboard shot there going through turn number 3, looking back from the Ernst Kirchmeier car at Tibor Valent. That was an awesome image, and here we can see bouncing across there, Henrik Kamstrup.
Last corner it is, and then you see what can happen if you go down in this 10th corner and you go too close at the end. It's bumpy on the one side, and you have something like you stick two things together, and it's not easy that you turn your car into this right-hander, and then maybe you lose it quite fast.
Okay, so we keep our eye on track limits during the course of the race as well, because it's very easy to try and take an advantage here of the track limits, because there's areas where you can get use the runoff and get something of a slingshot. But certainly our race control team are wise to that, and basically the rule is with track limits you have to keep at least 2 wheels within the white lines of the tarmac delineation. And if you don't, race control will look at that, and they may give you a track limits warning. We've already had some issued. Basically, you can get 3 warnings, and on the 4th warning, you get a time penalty, and so that continues for every other offence thereafter. So it's something that becomes, perhaps, in my opinion, a little bit more prevalent as the race goes on, because, of course, the wonderful Pirelli tyres begin to deg a little. It just means a little less grip is available to the drivers than was at the beginning of the race. I'm seeing Fritz Muller drop down the order and has come into the pit lane, so disaster for Fritz Muller. And there we can see Ernst Kirchmeier really stretching his legs now, and he's got a margin of 1.430 seconds over Tibor Valent, who in turn is about a second ahead of Sven Schirmer, as we watch Eric Chung then bounce his way through turn number 1. Eric Chung currently running P5 in class, P6 in the race overall. He's chasing down Karl Runefeld.
And you see already 0.7 seconds advantage for Ernst Kirchmeier that early time in the race. And you see he is familiar with this track, and also some of the favorite drivers here, Tibor Valent and Sven Schirmer, are really struggling compared to him.
I think you're right. Charles Chan, you can see there in the matte blue 133 Ferrari Challenge car. He's being chased down by Karl Runefeld. Now, Karl Runefeld is a Shell driver. Charles Chan is a Shell Am driver. Therefore, there's no battle within the same class, because they are different classes. And incidentally, Charles Chan, driving that 133 car, is of course the leader in terms of Shell Am, and he's got that cushion, if you like, of Karl Runefeld and Eric Chung between himself and Yoneda and Ru, who are running P2 and P3 in the Shell Am class. Now, car 113 under investigation for overtaking car 115 by going off the track. Now, we did see that, and it was Henrik Kamstrup and Shintaro Akatsu, and Henrik Kamstrup clearly was able to get an advantage, and he overtook Shintaro Akatsu by going off the track. So that's just an example of where sometimes if you just take a little bit of liberties with the tarmac and the runoff area, you'll just get a little bit of a slingshot, and that can help you on a fence.
Same situation here, going a bit wider than the opponent in front of you, and you really catch the speed, and you see it exactly in this moment that you have it, and it brings you 2-3 meters, and that's enough on this track.
This is turn 3, forgive me interrupting you, but it's such a wonderful corner because you can overtake it. If Paolo Scudieri can get to the inside of Boris Gideon here, this will give him the inside line going into turn number 4. Now, he set that up on the exit of the start, on the exit of turn 1, to be honest with you.
And exactly at this point where you start braking, you have to do it really careful, because your car gets so nervous on the rear that you maybe fail to turn in the right position. And in a situation like this, with 2 cars side by side, then
it's
it can
it's
be.
going to be less than optimum. We saw Stefano Guy, who is Paolo Scudieri's driver coach, really encouraging Paolo on here, and he has got by Boris Gideon. So great job done. Well done, Paolo Scudieri, driver of the 101 car. Now this is, he'd set it up perfectly. His exit of turn 3, which he'd set up along the kink of turn 2 from turn 1. He just got to the inside of Boris Gideon, and you're absolutely right. Boris Gideon's rotation was compromised because where he wanted to turn into was full of the Paolo Scudieri car. Great job done.
That's something special as well here in Spielberg, that you have such a long line uphill. But if you make a mistake in turn 1,
yes,
you feel it after turn 3, what means it's nearly 1.2 kilometers later.
Yeah, so the impact and effect of that comes somewhat a little later than perhaps you would expect. Eric Chung, we're following, who's running P5 in class, P6 in the race overall. And I'm being advised that Henrik Kamstrup, and you'll see this on screen in just a few moments' time, is going to pick up a time penalty for overtaking this driver, which is Shintaro Akatsu. There it is. Car 113, a time penalty of +5 seconds for overtaking car 115 by going off the track. So that 5-second time penalty will be added to Henrik Kamstrup's race time. So Henrik Kamstrup is running P12 in the race overall. That's P7 within class. That's going to drop him down the order. I also remind you that the start was under investigation, and I'm also being told by my my people in race control into my headphones that the start is no longer being investigated and there will be no further action taken. So there we have it. Another lap put in the book then, and it's another lap where Ernst Kirchmeier continues his quest up the road. 1.742 seconds ahead of Tibor Valint, who in turn is a good margin ahead of Sven Schirmer. Sven Schirmer I was speaking to at just before lunchtime today, and he was saying, you know, I'm just not finding the rhythm and the pace that I had, Dave, when the weather conditions were worse. Over the test sessions and the free practice sessions, he said I was really, really quick, but now actually the track is dry. I'm just not finding the rhythm in the car, and that you can sense. I know you know Sven Schirmer really, really well because he lives up the road from you, quite a way up the road. I wouldn't want to walk it, to be fair, but you know.
But you can try. Yeah.
But you know him really well, and you know, with a racing driver, if the rhythm is just not there for you, and it certainly isn't today, that has an impact and an effect.
Yeah, but I think you have to go a bit backwards to describe it. And he was testing here. He got a good feeling. Now, in my opinion, he's missing his main opponent in the championship. That influences your mentality, your concentration. You have not the focus, not the pressure. And Sven needs pressure. That's the funny thing. And then you see the result that he's thinking too much, in my opinion, about where to turn in, where to accelerate better, and so on. And then the effect is that he's not chasing for P1, he is fighting for the podium, only for the podium, and is behind Tibor Valent, what is, yeah, for Sven, something that is complicated, because he knows and he's keen to race his own race, or maybe to fight against Sven, not Sven himself as well, to Jan Sandman.
That's a really interesting dynamic picture that you've painted there. So Jan Sandman, as there's contact between Alexei Komarov and Henrik Kamstrup. I only caught the back end of that, but that has strewn some debris across the track. I'm sure it was Alexei Komarov.
Minimum yellow.
I think it was Alexei Komarov. I'm not absolutely convinced.
Yeah, it was.
Henrik Kamstrup and Alexei Komarov, because he has very similar livery to the Alois Meyer car. Here it is. Wow. He was just not aware that Henrik was there, I don't think.
That was...
And he was just turning in.
Was he in a blind spot? No, he was so focused to turn in.
Right. Well, that has stricken the Alexei Komarov car.
Normally it should not happen, because the blind spot is with the new technique. Should not be there, because you see on the screen that it is flashing.
Safety car.
That there is something behind or next to you. It's interesting. Interesting would be the right word for.
Safety car is called for, and that means, and of course that happened at happened at turn 1.
Yeah.
So there is Ernst Kirchmeier, who of course had built up a huge margin against Tibor Valent and Sven Schirmer. All of a sudden, that is nullified because of the safety car.
Did you see?
Henrik Kamstrup as well.
Was just looking left to see if the driver is okay.
Yep. A great sense of camaraderie from all of our Ferrari Challenge drivers, which is something which is to be admired, that's for sure. And a safety car is out. So just to go back to the thought process that we were having, basically what you were saying to me is that Sven Schirmer performs at his best when Sven Schirmer has got somebody really booting him and really pressuring him and really challenging him. And Jan Sandman, who is the driver that did that last year as they fought tooth and nail for the Shell Am Championship, which, to be fair, Sven Schirmer eventually won. Jan Sandman taking P2, but Jan Sandman is missing this weekend, and what you're saying is, you know, he's missing his closest competitor, and he's not performing as well as part of that. So that's an interesting dynamic. It's not one that I'd considered. Let's take a look at the progress chart. Look at Karl Runefeld up 4 places, also up 4 places. Masiro Yuneda up 5. Giuseppe Romelli up 9. Alwas Meyer. Love seeing that progress chart on the left-hand side of your screen, and whilst we've got the safety car, we are able to do that and bring that to you. So Henrik Kamstrup and Alexei Komarov then in strife through turn 1, which basically means that we have this Richard Mills safety car that has been brought out to neutralise the race, and unfortunately for Ernst Kirchmeier, neutralise the gap that he had created. And there is Bence Valent, Tibor Valent's son. And I mentioned earlier on in the programme, Bence Valent, a young whippersnapper driver who's through the Ferrari Challenge has gone off to experience other forms of racing to some success now. But nice to see Bence back. And actually over lunch, Tibor shouted over the table at me, "Look, Dave, I've got the best driver coach in the business," his son Bence Valent.
Yeah, it's not only the best driver coach, it's something interesting in the constellation, I think, because father-son relation is, it's something special. You know the character maybe best of your father, and he knows you, but it also has, or could have, some spicy moments, because you know, there's a difference in ages, there's a difference in communication, and not always the same opinion is about the situation they talking.
Charlie Hollings to the right-hand side of your picture there, who's one of the driver coaches employed by Kessel Racing, and David Fuminelli is in there as well, seated. And Kirchmeier, Valent, Schirmer, then Runefeld. Here is, so this is going into turn number 1. I honestly don't think Alexei was even aware that Henrik was there.
Nope.
But that's just my take on it.
Yeah,
you know, because he came from a long way to the right-hand side to turn in, Oliver.
What we could not see so clearly is the difference between the position they have, and here we see him walking away. That's a good picture to see, and to see how safe the cars are.
And I've said it so many times. I mean, these cars were designed and have been designed with driver safety as absolute paramount importance number 1. No question about it. And Alexei Komarov, I have to say, who drives for the Scuderia Prague team, he's such a, you know, his racecraft has improved so much, Oliver, over the past season and a bit. Been really impressed with Alexei Komarov, who's beginning to get finishes that are deserving of his talent. And, great shame that he's out of the race, but there we are. Great shame also for Ernst Kirchmeier, who had a superb lead, which is going to have to do it all over again when the safety car does come in, which no indication of that from race control at the moment.
So that gives us the time to look back at this situation, and I think Komarov was 10, 12 meters in front of the 2 cars behind him, and this is something I think we have to keep in mind by analyzing the situation, because I think he was concentrating on the car in the middle,
not the car to the outside,
not a Komarov outside on the right side, and the car in the middle braked in the right moment,
and then all of a sudden was another car.
And the same situation other way around. Kamarov didn't see him on the left side, and then something like this happens, and yeah, you cannot avoid. And the main thing is, the main point, they are healthy. The car is a bit damaged, but you can repair it until tomorrow.
Of course, of course. So, whilst we are behind the safety car, of course, the clock continues to tick down. The race is still on. We've got about 12 and a quarter minutes plus 1 lap remaining in the Ferrari Challenge Copichel and Copichel Am Race 1. The incident involving cars 113 and 199 in turn 1 is going to be investigated after the race. So the race control panel, it's not just one person, there's a huge bunch of people in there who have access to so much data and so many camera angles. We think we are blessed in broadcast in terms of the amount of footage that we are given to work with. But actually, in comparison to the number of screens and all the data points they have in race control, it's as naught. I mean, they make informed decisions based on fact.
And it's not far away from our commentator booth. It's just 50 meters. And then if you go in this race control room, it's impressive. It's really impressive. It's a big screen, one screen divided into, I guess it was 80 perspectives you have here at Spielberg at the Red Bull Ring. And that's something really enjoyable when you are there, then because you can see every fly.
Yeah, interestingly, although obviously, I don't get the opportunity to be in race control when a race is on because generally I'm speaking about it. So, but I have seen the images so many times and something that Ferrari do with the Ferrari Challenge and Corsa Clienti program, which I think is really, really admirable, is when we have, which is every event, factory drivers here. For example, this weekend we have Giancarlo Fisichella. Giancarlo will be spending time inside race control as a driver advisor because racing drivers see things from a different perspective. And of course, if you're a racing driver, you're always going to try and take a 10th that you shouldn't have or a 100th that you shouldn't have. And generally, I mean, Claudio Garavini is our race director and a hugely, hugely experienced man. And he knows every trick in the book.
Yeah.
But, you know, he's the first to admit that, you know, to have the benefit of seeing it from a driver's eye perspective sometimes affords perhaps just a different focus. Safety car is going to come in at the conclusion of this lap. So that means Ernst Kirchmayr will try and stack the cars up behind him because it will be his responsibility to control the pace of the restart. He will have Tibor Valent and Sven Schirmer champing at the bit to get going. Now, the rules are this. Once the safety car has peeled off, and it does become the responsibility of Ernst Kirchmayr, he cannot accelerate, decelerate, accelerate, decelerate.
But at the moment he can.
But at the moment he can.
Until he crossed the line for sector 3, then that's what's now the situation.
He has to behave, and Ernst will behave. He's not
well experienced with this.
Yes, I'm not for one moment suggesting that he wouldn't. Daniele Diamato, another former champion Ferrari Challenge driver, another talented young driver. So many young drivers have made their name through this wonderful one-make series of the Ferrari Challenge, which stretches around the world in Europe and Japan and the UK and Australasia and North America and also the Middle East as well, as we get ready to go racing again. Ernst Kirchmayr stacking them all and backing them all up. And as you can see, he's gapped Tibor Valent. Tibor Valent, though, is under pressure from Sven Schirmer, who anticipated quite well. So can Sven Schirmer have a go going into turn number 1? He's certainly taking a look at the inside line here. Tibor Valent is just enough ahead to be able to deny Sven Schirmer, but I bet you Sven Schirmer will have another go going into turn number 3. So there is Ernst Kirchmayr. Now, Sven Schirmer is lining up Tibor Valent, trying to sell him a bit of a dummy through the kink, which is turn number 2. Schirmer will dive to the inside, surely. No, he's not quite close enough to be able to do it. So Tibor Valent, for the moment, breathes a sigh of relief as he holds on to that P2 place, Oliver Fendel.
I think Sven Schirmer has not the trust in his tires and in his temperature.
Okay.
Because in corner 1, he tried to, and then he felt that it is not reacting like he was assuming. I think now he takes 2 more laps. If he can hold this position, this gap between, then he will try to, because the time is running off. And that plays in the cards of Ernst Kirchmeier, because he can pull away again.
Escaping up the road, isn't he?
And the tire management is crucial as well, and he did it perfectly at the top of the...
Absolutely. We were running the telemetry on the Sven Schirmer and Tibor Valin cars there. You could see the speed and when they were braking and accelerating. But you've hit the nail upon the head. What Ernst Kirchmeier and Tibor Valin probably did a little bit better than Sven Schirmer, maybe during the safety car phase, was try and keep some temperature into those tyres so that when they did get the get-go again, they've got a little bit more grip available to them than perhaps Sven Schirmer.
It's already, we are running one lap, and Ernst Kirchmeier already has 1.2 seconds between. And again, Sven...
Sorry, Uneda, I think it was, that ran very wide there. Just double check on that.
Uneda is,
Here's Paolo Scudieri now, who's going to try and take advantage of that. So Paolo Scudieri, who's already been very, very lively during the course of this race, is taking a look now, but discretion was the better part of valor. But if he can get a good exit here and get to the inside line, but I don't think he's quite close enough to be able to do it.
He will do it from the outside.
Jean Roux, though, was able to certainly take advantage, that's for sure. So it's Charles Chan, Jean Roux, and Masaru Yaneda. They are the top three. So Paolo Scudieri here has got the motivation, because he knows that he's got 6 minutes, 20 seconds, plus 1 lap to try and wrestle away a podium out of this race, as car 106 gets a time penalty of 5 seconds. That is our race leader, Ernst Kirchmeier, who has picked up a 5-second time penalty. That is for, presumably for track limits.
That's interesting, because now he puts himself under pressure.
Well, he's got to build a gap of at least 5 seconds over Tibor Valint to maintain the lead of the race. That's going to be a tall order in just 5 3/4 minutes.
That's a task he's able to do
at the moment.
Lead, but
if everything were to finish right now, Ernst Kirchmeier would be P4, I think.
Yeah, but let's look at the times. 1:34, that's again 7/10 faster than Tibor Valint. Already 2.3 seconds advantage.
Forgive me interrupting. I thought we were going to get an overtake on Charles Chan then from Eric Chung.
Yeah.
As Eric Chung, of course, is a Copa Shell racer, and Charles Chan is a Shell Am racer. In fact, he's the Shell Am leader. In replay. That's a very, very scary moment for Tommy Lindroth, who I have to say I'm delighted to see back racing again. So Tommy Lindroth driving the 117 car. Now has got it all back together again. Well done, Tommy.
Yeah, but you also feel or see that he is not so comfortable at the moment with this car. Ernst Kirchmeier. It's almost like he's listening to you. He's just set in a 1:34.36. He has built already 2.1 seconds over Tibor Valint. I've said for him to build 5 seconds in the time left available. I stand by that. I don't think he can do that, but by Jiminy, he's flying. You think he can? He definitely will do.
Okay. We have a small dessert as a little wager here, I think, between Oliver Fendel and myself. Ernst Kirchmeier is throwing caution to the wind right now. Local race. He's picked up that time penalty. He needs to build another 3 seconds between himself and Tibor Valint to be assured of the race win.
And he gets the information as well from his driver coach, and then he knows what to do, and he will. He is so experienced. He knows that there is still room to improve for him. He's not on the limit, and he will show it. I'm sure. I saw him so many races here. Yes. Not only in the Ferrari Challenge, also with other GT classes, and it's so impressive with his experienced age, and with this car, that's one. That's not a car, and the person, it's one.
Yeah, it is. He and this car are welded together like, he has taken to the 296 Challenge car. He's taken to every Ferrari Challenge car as like, as you say, it's like one integral piece of equipment. Ernst Kirchmeier then. Tibor Valint is responding. He's just taken 2/10 out of Ernst Kirchmeier. Now, the thing is, Ernst, by pushing so hard, could run the risk potentially of going off track again. No? Okay, you're just discounting everything I'm saying.
Just take a look to the gap to Sven Schirmer. He's already, now when he crosses the line, 4 seconds.
Whoa, you're telling me that's not a track limit violation?
Ah, you didn't see it.
I'm just saying, because it's up there.
Yeah, then 10 seconds, it's, but 10 seconds will be difficult in the time.
Yeah, yes, it will.
But
So,
we are talking just 2.5 minutes about this, and we have 2.5 and 1 lap, and he has 4 seconds, 4.3 seconds to Sven already. 2.6 to Tibor.
it's made the dynamic and magic of this race even
I know
more
who's
exciting.
paying the bill today. It's Ernst.
So Ernst Kirchmeier then 2.663 to the good. Sven Schirmer 4.3 seconds behind Ernst Kirchmeier now. So we've got just under 2 minutes plus 1 lap remaining as Masaru Yaneda then is continuing to pressure the car of Jean Roux. Jean Roux, who of course is a P2 in this Chalam race with Masaru Yaneda, who is running P3. Now there is a time penalty being issued to Boris Gideon as well for track limits. So Boris Gideon, who's not featuring, to be fair, in the higher orders at the moment, but nonetheless Boris Gideon, there you can see confirmation car number 103 picking up a time penalty. Just delighted to see him in the race after he's off during qualifying. So Kirchmeier then 2.4 seconds over Tibor Valent, 4.5 seconds, make that 2.7 over Tibor Valent now as he crosses the timing line, 4.5 over Sven Schirmer, and we've got a minute plus 1 lap remaining.
Will be an entertaining finish, and we have one more overtaking here, and it was a proper overtake. Perfectly done, and the next one is not waiting. He's accelerating, and from the outline to the inline, he gets in front.
Do you know what? Just another little interesting dynamic, and there are always so many dynamics you can look at with the Ferrari Challenge. If the Ferrari Challenge Cope Chalam race were to finish this way, as one of my producers has just told me, this would be something of a comeback for our APAC drivers. Jean Roux is P1 Chalam, Charles Chan P2 Chalam, and Masaru Yaneda P3 Chalam. If the race were to finish in the positions that those drivers are in right now. There's Eric Chung, certainly meaning business in replay there as he dived to the inside, and it was Charles Chan who didn't defend it. I mean, in fairness, Charles Chan here, and you can see as he goes tooth and nail with Jean Roux. Fantastic racing from the Ferrari Challenge here in Europe. Okay, so going to cross the timing line now to start the final lap is Ernst Kirchmeier. 2.564 seconds to the good over Tibor Valent, 4.285 to the good over Sven Schirmer. I can feel a dessert at dinner tonight coming my way from my colleague alongside me.
Maybe yes, but I will forward the bill to Ernst Kirchmeier because he's not performing that good in the last 2 laps. Too much pressure on the tires, maybe.
Yeah.
Too much thinking about where to get an advantage. I don't know. It's surprising because also Sven Schirmer is coming closer to him. But
yes.
yeah, if it is that case, well deserved. That is for you.
Well, if nothing else, this race has been hugely exciting, enticing, with lots of drama along the way, which started really right at the start of the race. Sven Schirmer, who has been steadfast in that P3 place, and if I'm honest with you, even with a safety car, it's not looked like it's going to trouble the 2 cars ahead of him and the 2 drivers ahead of him. Top 3 for Shell drivers as it stands at the moment is Ernst Kirchmeier, Tibor Valent and Sven Schirmer. For the AMs, it's Jean Roux, Charles Chan and Masaru Yaneda. So just a couple of turns to do for Ernst Kirchmeier. Make that just 1 turn to do right now, and he will see the checkered flag first. However, he has that 5-second time penalty to be awarded
but will be on podium.
He will be on the podium, you're absolutely right. He will be taking that P3 place. So it's Tibor Valent, our race winner, ahead of Sven Schirmer and Ernst Kirchmeier. Karl Runefeld takes P4. Now, the APAC dominance, or resumption of dominance, continues, or is back again, with John Roux, Charles Chan and Masaru Yaneda taking the top 3 places for our Shell Am drivers. So, do you think there was a valiant effort there from Tibor Valent, who didn't push himself too hard because he knew Bent's probably on the radio to him saying, don't push too hard, you've not got to really, you just got to maintain the gap between yourself and Ernst, and you're going to inherit the win?
I took a view on the times, and it's interesting how much Ernst Kirchmeier lost the last 2 laps. It was 0.9 and the last lap 1.1 second. Yeah, that's the time what would have bring him to P1, but at the end of the day, there was a reason why it happened this way. So we have to ask him why he could not fight for this top position. Yeah, end of the day, P3 he will be satisfied with, and tomorrow is another day. Without any track limits, he would be race winner, but well deserved from Tibor Valent, who's dominant as well in this race, controlled everything, didn't took too much risk, and end of the day, part 2, Sven Schirmer got in written at the end of the race, but not in pace he could normally go here at the Red Bull Ring.
A couple of other highlights that I want to bring out of that race result. Bear in mind, Karl Runefeld, the Autoropa Racing driver, who finished P4, he has moved down from Pirelli Am, so he's clearly found and been put into the category where it's exactly right for him, and he finished P4, so that's his best result of the season so far. And I want to give a big shout out to Khaled Boudai as well from Rosso Corsa Racing, who finished P6 in class. I met him in Qatar when he was racing in the Middle East Prologue event in the early part of this year, and he has performed really, really well. So just a couple of shout outs to others that we may not necessarily be seeing on the podium, but I think their performances warranted mention in dispatches from me. Now we can see the raw emotions then as drivers jump out of the car. Ben Valent to the right-hand side of your picture there with a curious T-shirt or a sweatshirt, offering congratulations to his father, and the whole Rosso Corsa team moving in there for a nice photograph. Sven Schirmer, he seems pretty happy with that, to be honest. You know him far, far better than I do. He looks really happy.
The Hamburg Seabird is smiling, and there you see that he is really happy with his performance, but he is not. Definitely he is not. He is in discussion, and yeah, thinks about this. For Sven it's easy to take these points. Will be back in the game for the championship, I think, and Tibor Valent.
Confirmation of the classification brought to you by Faye. Tibor Valent takes the win from Sven Schirmer and Ernst Kirchmeier. It was Karl Runefeld and Eric Chung, P4 and P5. However, Jean Roux, Charles Chan and Masaru Yaneda winning in the Shell Am drivers ahead of Paolo Scudieri, Giuseppe Ramelli, Alois Meyer, Stephen Earle, Leon Rinbeek and Boris Gideon, with Khaled Boudai then P15 overall, but a very, very impressive P6 within class, and then the rest of the order you can see on screen in graphics for you. So Ferrari Challenge, Copa Shell and Copa Shell Am race done and dusted. So we are going to be hearing, of course, from our race winners just as soon as we can. Ludovica doing her level best and sprinting up and down the pit lane, getting hold of race drivers so that we can discover how they feel about the extraordinary success that they have extolled today out there on the tarmac. And the first one of those that we're going to hear from is Tibor Valent.
Tibor, congratulations from P2 to P1. You defend your position in the best way and you stay focused until the end of the race, despite the 5 seconds of penalty of Kirchmeier. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you much. Thank you. Okay, it was a nice race. It is my first race weekend in this track. and it was amazing. I was fast the practice and qualifying too, and I just tried to follow Ernst, and the last three, I think it's 3 laps, my racing engineer told me he has a penalty, and I just needed 5 minutes gap. It's okay, 5 seconds. Okay, thank you much.
Thank you, congratulations again.
Thank you.
Well done indeed to Tibor Valent, and also going to be hearing from Jean Roux, of course, who did a fantastic job. So, yeah, it was something of apex domination, wasn't it? Resumption of domination. So, right now, let's hear from the Kessel Racing driver, Jean Roux.
Congratulations, what an incredible result for you here and for your team. A very good work. So I want to discover with you, first of all, your feeling and how do you build this race and this important result?
I think I made a little bit of a mistake at the start, but in the end I was able to catch up and eventually win, getting a win by it. I think my team, Kessel Racing, and everyone at the team work together to give me a perfect car.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, you rely on the team behind you. Preparations underway for the start of Ferrari Challenge Copa and Copa race as the lights go out. Ernst Kirchmayr from pole position is going to be chased by Tibor Valent all the way into turn number 1. However, Tibor not able to get quite close enough to be able to mount a meaningful challenge on Ernst Kirchmayr. Sven Schirmer looking lively, so too Jean Roux in the AM drivers, and well, strive for Fritz Muller as he found himself pointing in the wrong direction. Turn 3 is always something of a place of action here at the circuit, as indeed is turn 1, and Lisa Clark running a bit wide there. Paolo Scudieri with a brilliant move now on Boris Gideon on the run down to turn 4. Is he going to be able to make this work? You bet your bottom dollar he is, as he turns in. Job done. Another place moved up for Paolo Scudieri. Henrik Kamstrup and Alexei Komarov come together. That brings out the safety car. When the safety car returns, it's down to Tibor Valent and Ernst Kirchmayr to control the pace of the restart, and they do it really well. And it is going to be Ernst Kirchmayr that crosses the line first, but Tibor Valent takes the win by dint of a time penalty for track limits on Ernst Kirchmayr, and Jean Roux taking the win in Copa Chalam. Up next, of course, we will be heading up to the podium, and we're standing by for Michele Mambelli to give us the podium ceremony. Here it comes.
Category Spielberg circuit. Third on the podium for race 1, Ernst Kirchmayr. Third on the podium, Ernst Kirchmayr, and second, Sven Schirmer. And the winner, Tibor Valent.
Tibor makes his way to the top step of the podium.
Manager Rosso Corsa near the podium. Rosso Corsa.
Rosso Corsa, of course, will be represented.
And now national anthem.
Time for the national anthem.
And now the trophy are presented.
Let's bear in mind, Oliver Fendel, that on the top step of the podium, Tibor Valent wins here in Austria. We will be going to Budapest, his home race, later in the year, because we'll be racing at Budapest. Giancarlo Fisichella, Ferrari ambassador driver, making the trophy presentations. First of all to Ernst Kirchmayr, then to Sven Schirmer, and then, of course, to our race winner on the top step of the podium, Tibor Valent, the Hungarian driver. who'll be looking forward to Budapest.
And now the trophy for the team.
And of course, Rosso Corsa will be in receipt of the Copa
Rosso
Team
Corsa.
Trophy as well, awarded by Giancarlo Fisichella.
Okay, now Giancarlo, team manager,
Everyone
and
will
all
get
the
together
driver
for
on the podium.
photographs, the focus of the world's
perfect.
media on our
And
Ferrari
for
Challenge
driver,
drivers and
lift your
celebrities
trophy.
and ambassador drivers as well, all up there
Picture
on
and
the
magic
podium.
from Spielberg circuit. Okay.
And then
now
it will
the
be
guest
who's going to
can
win
leave
the champagne
podium.
race. It'll be
Wait,
Schirmer.
Wait, driver, wait. Okay, the driver. Okay, 3, 2,
Sorry,
1,
it wasn't. It was
champagne.
Tibor Valent. You were right.
No, just took a view. Was no guess. But you mentioned Budapest will be the second last race weekend of this year, so he has the chance to continue like this on top step of the podium some more times. And it will be interesting because when I remember right, last time we've been in Hungary, it was the Balaton race. Not the
You're
Budapest.
right. You're absolutely right. We went there before. We've been to Budapest on a number of occasions, of course, but yes, we went to the Balaton circuit around the lake. You're quite right, just next door to the lake. Top three then we saw in Super Slow-Mo there as Kirkmeyer, Sven Schirmer and Tibor Valent. Our race winner, of course, for Rosso Corsa. Let's take a look at the points situation then, with Sven Schirmer leading the points. Tibor Valent has vaulted 3 places to come up to P2. Eric Chung is P3 in the points. Jan Sandman missing this weekend. Drops 2 places, and Fons Skeltermar with that non-start. He drops another 2 places as well. So he'll be disappointed with that, and he'll be hoping to right the wrongs of today, tomorrow.
And you see what it means. If you have a success, you jump on the top, and then if not,
You don't.
if you miss, you lose so much positions. And here,
And
so happy
second driver
of 3
on the
drivers.
podium, Charles Chan.
Masaru Yaneda then runs to the
And
step
the
3,
winner,
Charles Chan on step 2.
Jean Ryu.
Jean Ryu then will go to the top
Team
step of
manager,
the podium.
Castle Racing.
And Kessel Racing going to be represented on the podium as well. This
And now
is our
national
Copa
anthem.
Am podium.
Our claps for this podium, and the trophy are presented by Giancarlo.
Here comes Giancarlo Fisichella once again, Ferrari driver ambassador that will be making the trophy presentations. First of all to our P3 driver.
And the trophy for the second on the podium, Charles Chan.
So Masaru, Charles, both in receipt of their trophies, and then on the top step of the podium. Jean Ryu receives his race winner's trophy from Giancarlo Fisichella.
For you, for Castle Racing.
And a Copa Team trophy to Kessel Racing.
And now, please, all on the podium, the drivers on
Let's
the
get
first
together
step,
for the
the
photographs
drivers.
then, with
And
Giancarlo
here,
Fisichella
Giancarlo,
joining
team
that party on the
manager.
podium.
Okay, lift your trophy.
So trophies
Okay.
lifted up high for everyone
Okay.
to big smile. And then it's going to be the champagne
Fantastic.
race
And now,
on the
Giancarlo,
podium.
team
Who
manager,
is
can
going to
leave
take
the podium.
P1 in
Wait,
that?
please leave the podium. And now the show is ready for
Well,
champagne.
Charles Chan, I believe, was #1 with the champagne in the Copa Shell Am champagne race. Masaru Yaneda for Formula Racing takes P3. P2 in the matte blue colours, the 133 car driven to aplomb by Charles Chan. And then on the top step of the podium, he certainly made it his today. For Kessel Racing, Jean Ryu. We await then the championship points for our Copa Shell Am drivers, and there'll be some movement in those points charts as well, with, as you can see, Boris Gideon P1 in the points, but Charles Chan moves up a place. Jean Ryu moves up 3 places to P3 in the championship points now, with Shintaro Katsu, Henrik Kamstrup and Andreas Koenig all taking downward steps in the podium. in the championship podium stakes. Andreas Koenig, as I say, missing this weekend. Masaru Yaneda up. So the Drivers' Championship then. And as a point mentioned by my German broadcast colleague, made actually so much can happen during the course of championship points, and just one race gone wrong can make such a huge difference. From all of us here in broadcast, hope you enjoyed the race as much as we did. The Cobra Shell and Cobra Shell Am race done and dusted. Another race to come, of course, from these two sets of drivers tomorrow, but we're not done with the race action here at the Spielberg circuit on Austria, because we still have our Trofeo Pirelli and Pirelli Am drivers to take to the track as well. Join us for that if you can. But from Oliver Fendel and from myself, Dave Richardson, hope you enjoyed the race as much as we enjoyed bringing it to you. And for now, goodbye. everyone. Look at that beautiful backdrop of the Styrian Mountains here in Austria. Welcome to Spielberg, round 3 of the Ferrari Challenge Trofeo Pirelli, about to take to this track. Weather conditions are a lot nicer than we expected them to be, if I'm honest with you. It was forecast for a lot of rain today. Touch wood, we've had not so. Spielberg circuit then, 4.3 kilometers, one of the shorter circuits before we head to the longest circuit on the calendar for this year, the Le Mans circuit. Then it's Portimao, Budapest and Barcelona, having already visited La Casale and Mugello. What a fantastic calendar for 2026. So there you can see a little bit of harmless high cloud around now. Track temperature is 19 degrees, the air temperature is 12 degrees, and about 15 kilometers per hour of wind currently. See, there is some dark clouds looming overhead, but they're a long way away from us here, and long may that continue. So we have our Pirelli and Pirelli Am drivers to take to the track, including the number 74 car of Fernando Monye, the Quades Gallery driver who's put it P2 on the track. Welcome to Fernando here in the Ferrari Challenge. The car looks absolutely resplendent. I love the colour scheme on that 296 Challenge car. He was bested to pole position by Sergio Paulet, who is P1 and he's driver of the number 1 car. So Sergio Paulet then, who's taken 3 wins out of 4 starts, and the win that he didn't take, he still took P2 in class, so he's in a very commanding position in terms of the Trofeo Pirelli points. Sergio Paulet then the Ineco Reparto Corsa Ram driver gives us just a small wave down there on the grid before he gets his race underway. We have a mix of the Pirelli and Pirelli Am drivers, and warm welcome back to Hendrik Viol. Hendrik Viol then a Pirelli driver right now by dint of him winning the Pirelli Am Championship last year. The Scuderia Prague driver Hendrik Viol. A warm welcome back to Hendrik, one of the lovely characters in the paddock, and so pleased to see him racing again. This is Michael Verhagen, who is the Pirelli Am Championship leader at the moment for Ferrari Warsaw. Michael Verhagen then driver of the number 33 car. He goes from P1 in class, it's P4 overall, but P1 in class with Anders Bidstrup. P2 in class for the Pirelli Am drivers. The Am drivers have the white strip across the top of the windscreen. These drivers, i.e. the Pirelli drivers, have the red strip across the top of the windscreen, Max Mugelli being one of those you can see there. Max Mugelli, also a race winner this year. He drives for the CDP Eureka competition team. So there are some people looking on from this very well-appointed Spielberg circuit here in the Styria region of Austria. This track I absolutely love. As Danilo Del Favro, who's driver of car number 9. Danilo Del Favro is one of our Ferrari Challenge Pirelli Am drivers. He drives for Penske Sportwagen Hamburg, and P4 on the grid within class for him. So our drivers get up to all sorts of things during the course of preps for racing, including a reaction test.
75.
Dr. Stephen Earle, you know what my age is. Giancarlo Fisichella, you'd expect him to be good, and he is. What about that? And I have to say, I have had a go at one of these, and it's not easy. But some of our drivers are just awesome. Look at that from the boss, Andrea Miladisic, head of Corsa Pilota and for Ferrari Challenge. And Stephen Earle, Dr. Stephen Earle was awesome as well. Lisa Clark was sharp too. Love this reaction test. Brilliant stuff. Sven Schirmer, the German. I love it. I love it. It was great to watch. Stefano Guy, Ludovica. Ludovica, I don't think you've got one. Oh, this is superb. Filippo Zania. Various members of the staff having a go here. Fernando Monye. Oh. Sergio Paulet. Not doing so well here. Only one. I love it. I love it. Even our driver coaches look having a go. Carlos Maya. I love it. Well done to Matteo, who organised that. Matteo Zappola, one of the member of the communications team. Great guy. That was a really good thing, that reaction test. Love it. Thankfully, I didn't get asked to have a go. We'd still be waiting. Danilo Del Favaro, Penske Sportwagen Hamburg. You can see the smile on his face, even though you can't see it, but you just know he's smiling because he's racing in the Ferrari Challenge and driving one of these wonderful 296 Challenge cars. The Richard Mille safety car will be hauling the cars away. Nobuhiro Imada drives the number 44 car, and Nobuhiro Imada with another reasonable qualifying. He qualified P3 in class, and never discount Nobuhiro Imada, who does a lot of racing. He knows how to propel a car, that's for sure. He can pedal like Billy-O, to be honest. Sergio Paolo going from pole position for our Pirelli drivers. For the AM drivers, Michael Verhagen, pole position. We have 30 minutes plus 1 lap. And very much looking forward to this race. Our mix of Pirelli and Pirelli AM drivers and the return of Hendrik Viol, which is good to see. You can see the track conditions absolutely dry, and with just a little bit of harmless high cloud, we're hoping it's going to stay that way during the course of the 30 minutes plus 1 lap race. This is the Ferrari Challenge Trofeo Pirelli.
Well, my passion for motorsport began when I was a kid. Especially was this time when Fernando Alonso was starting to race in Formula One. I was very young, and then suddenly I started racing in go-karts when I was 11 years old. Well, my first impressions when I entered the paddock and saw the organization of the Ferrari Challenge I was very delighted. I was very impressed. The organization of the whole championship, it's very on point, and yeah, I felt very comfortable. Like the hospitality, the fact of being able to be here on the boxes. So yeah, it was very nice impression. By far. So being part of this family for the first time, it's like it's a very nice feeling. You can see it in every detail, made in the Italian way, and yeah, you feel that you have to represent and you have to be up to the standards of the brand and the factory, and so yeah, it's a really nice feeling, and really happy. Well, so my expectations for this season is I hope to be in the front. Hopefully we can be fighting for the podium, and hopefully as well for the very front. And yeah, it's my first race in Red Bull Ring. Le Mans especially, it's a race that I really wanted to do for at least to race on the big track. Maybe hoping that someday I'll be able to do the 24 hours. And that's a big goal, and as well the last round, the Finale Mondiali in Barcelona, which is my home race, my home track. We expect to do a very good result, because everybody back home is going to be cheering all my sponsors, thanks to Go, thanks to Quadis, and yeah, it's going to be a very big event, and we hope to be in the very front for the home race. So those are the two main objectives for the season.
Great to hear from Fernando. You are very welcome into the Ferrari Challenge. This 4.3 kilometre circuit contains 10 turns, 3 left, 7 right, an elevation change of 64 metres from the start-finish line up to turn 3. We're about an hour, 77 kilometres from Graz, 2 hours from Vienna, 198 kilometres, and 2 hours 35 from Salzburg. Styria is a mountainous, forested state here in southern Austria, known for its wine, spas, and castles. The Richard Mille safety car will lead the cars away on their formation lap. I'm delighted to welcome alongside me our German broadcast colleague, who's actually very good of the English language as well, which is why we've invited him into our studio, and that is Oliver Fendel, who I have to say I've known for a lot of years, and he and I have worked together for many, many years, including on this wonderful product, the Ferrari Challenge. We'll bring you the grid in full, then you will hear from that voice himself. Matt Rosner goes from P13 on the grid. The starting grid by Faye as Jacob Bidstrup and Lucas Azato share the 6th row of the grid. Lucas Azato moving up from Shell Am. Herbert Guys and Giacomo Rinaldi share P5, Ronaldo I should say, and Danilo Del Favro and Nobuhiro Imada are on the 4th row of the grid. Max Mugelli and Anders Bidstrup share row 3, it's P6 and P5 respectively. And then it's Michael Verhagen, the best of the AM drivers, with the returning Hendrik Viol going from P3. It was a great quali from Fernando Monnier, and Sergio Paolo once again goes from pole position. And we are going to hear once again from Sergio Paulet, who goes from P1.
Another pole. It's, I think, 5th in the row. So very, very happy to have this pole. It was very tough. I probably say my toughest pole position in the season for so long. So very happy to have this one. And well, I expect for the race not to rain because yesterday I saw my rivals have a little bit more points, stronger points for the race in the rain, so hope it's still dry and let's go for the win.
Well, all our predictions are, Sergio, that it should stay dry. Having just hot-foot it from the grid where he was doing pieces to camera and, of course, signing autographs for his fan club is Oliver Fendel alongside me here. When you look up into the skies, doesn't look like there's any rain coming, does it?
I see sun behind the clouds.
Wow. Wow.
Behind the clouds.
Okay.
Thank you very much that I can be with you also in this race. And you mentioned we were working together all the years, and also I'm allowed to come here. Thank you very much for this. And some info, this is a surprising thing. Danilo Del Favero wants to overtake Max Mugelli uphill until turn 3. We can be really excited what happens.
Let's see if he does it. The cars are heading towards the lighting gantry. Then when the lights go from red out and they're extinguished, we will be racing. Ferrari Challenge Trofeo Pirelli. Pirelli Am is go. 30 minutes plus 1 lap of race action to come. Look at Nobuhiro Imada diving to the inside. And Hendrik Viol side by side with Sergio Paulet. Hendrik Viol coming back into racing. And Hendrik Viol and Danilo Del Favro doing exactly as predicted by Oliver Fendel. And look at this. Hendrik Viol, the Trofeo Pirelli Am champion, who is up into Trofeo Pirelli. It's only his first showing as we're on board right now. Whoa, and making contact with Sergio Paulet. That was being used as the brake there by Danilo Del Favro, I'm sure of that. But Hendrik Viol, what a start from him. Anders Bidstrup is side by side with Fernando Monnier here. So Anders Bidstrup in the purple colours, Fernando Monnier in the red and yellow. My goodness me, what a start to the race. Hendrik Viol leading ahead of Sergio Paulet. He absolutely was determined in turn 1. I think a couple of door mirrors may have gone for a Burton in that move through turn 1, but what the heck. Dropping down the order, Max Mugelli in strife. So Max Mugelli then has dropped right to the back of the pack as Hendrik Viol continues to lead from Sergio Paulet. Fernando Monnier, then it's Anders Bidstrup, Michael Verhagen, Herbert Guys, Nobuhiro Imada, Jacob Bidstrup. What on earth has happened to Danilo Del Favro now?
I'm still a bit speechless, to be honest. It was an entertaining, confusing start procedure already before crossing the starting line, and then in turn number 1, turn 2, and in the end turn 3. It was nothing what we can sort out in just a few seconds here. I think we need a replay for, but it is a constellation that is much more surprising than expected. We have one car out, and that was to expect after he hit in turn 3 the car in the 2nd position.
So there is Danilo Del Favro. We're following this with one of our RF cameras down there, and whoa. You can see the damage there, and they're trying to just move the panel workers. Hendrik Viol continues to lead from Sergio Paulet. Then Fernando Monnier. Anders Bidstrup is leading for the AM drivers ahead of Michael Verhagen and Herbert Guys. So Michael Verhagen not getting the start to the race that he would like. He's relegated to P2, and that's almost unheard of for Michael Verhagen. Herbert Guys running steadfast in P3, ahead of Nobuhiro Imada and Jacob Pitstrup, and then it's Giacomo Rinaldo, then Matt Rosner, Luke Cesato, and Max Mugelli. So Danilo Del Favaro on his way out of the pit lane, I can give you that. But I think his race is as near as makes no difference, done for.
The same with Max Mugelli, and I think also Lucas Assato has some problems because they have been all involved in this trouble in lap number 1. So let's see what happens during the race. Impressive how Henrik Viol races in this moment. He's pulling away. Also Sergio Paolo is not able to follow.
Herbert Guys making up 4 positions, Henrik Viol making up 2 positions. As we look at the progress chart, I'm being told that Max Mugelli was on the receipt of some contact in the early stages of this race, and that's why he dropped down the order, because he was losing speed, and that Luke Cesato also doing the same. But to give you the top 3 in each of the categories right now, Henrik Viol, Sergio Paulet and Fernando Monnier. And then it's Anders Bidstrup, Michael Verhagen and Herbert Guys. We ride on board with the Quadras Gallery GOAT racing driver Fernando Monnier, who's where we enjoyed hearing from him at the start of the race, saying what his aspirations and ambitions are for the he as a driver, and also the team, and the team watching on. Of course, behind every driver there's a team as well that work very, very hard. We're going to take a look, and let's see if we can pick the bones, Oliver Fendel, out of the replay of the race start. Here it comes, friend.
Already starting here with this situation and this situation in the middle of the field. You see the red car.
Yep.
Mugelli, who's crossing left and right, and that was the starting point for some...
Look at Danilo around the outside taking 3 cars.
Yeah, that was something he mentioned already in the qualifying this morning, that there is a chance to do something like this. And it worked out until he touched the car in the
Sergio Paulet, he made contact. You're right. Hugely impressive with Henrik Viol. That was the contact that did for Danilo Del Favaro. Otherwise, may I say, it would have been the start of the season for Danilo Del Favaro. He did such a good job there.
Yeah, definitely. There was the right strategy to try something. Yeah, it failed in the last moment, but now he knows what's possible. Then he reduced this way the next time, and maybe it pays off.
Henrik Viol has got 9/10 of margin over Sergio Paulet. Sergio Paulet coming back here is determined to, he's had 3 wins out of 4 race starts. Henrik Viol won the Trofeo Pirelli AM contest last year. He's come back into it for this. It's going to be his first race of the season. He's the first to admit that he's not going to be able to contest every race this year, which he's disappointed about. I spoke to him earlier on, and he said, I miss everybody. I miss it all, he says, but, sometimes life has other commitments. And he said, I've had to...
you missed him as well.
Yeah, I've had to make sure that some of those are prioritised this year, which means I can't do as many races as I would like to do. We're on board here, and I love these onboard shots, and we're with Fernando Monnier here. And it was 1.162, the interval between Sergio Paulet and Fernando Monnier. It's
2 Spaniards on 2 and 3.
Yes, and interesting, of course, as we go to the Circuit de Catalunya.
End of the year.
End of the year. Herbert Guys is under investigation for overtaking by going off the track at turn 1, and there you can see that on screen. So Herbert Guys, 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. I'm inclined to say.
I'm really not surprised that he performs that well. When you looked at him in the grid, he was fully focused. He was he seems to be relaxed but focused, and that's something you need, this mix, to bring out the best performance you can.
He also has behind him a driver you and I know well, Harald Prochik, who kicks his bottom metaphorically, and the partnership that they have seems to work really, really well. Because
it's also interesting because it's a German-Austrian combination.
Yeah, Harald is Austrian, isn't he?
Yeah, he is, and he was really good GT3 contender in high-level championships in Europe, and all the experience he puts in this project with Herbert Geis, and he finds someone with Herbert, I think, who squeezed out everything he could.
May I just interrupt you and say that where once Hendrik Viol had 9/10 between himself and Sergio Paulet, it's now down to 5/10. Sergio Paulet is coming back at Hendrik Viol here. Now, Hendrik Viol is not going to be an easy candidate to overtake, that's for sure. And there you can see the top three actually in this Trofeo Pirelli racer are closing up together. We've only done 8 minutes of the racing, so we've got a lot more racing to come.
3.5 seconds at the moment ahead of the Pirelli M leader. And under investigation, number 11, that's the car again, Herbert Geis.
Yes, I mentioned that. I'd seen it in my message board before we saw the graphics on screen. Forgive me for that.
You are a real racer, and you are in front of everyone.
I want to bring the information to you as quickly as I possibly can. But these three, this is going to hot up to be something very special indeed, I think. 21 minutes plus 1 lap remaining. Hendrik Viol leading from Sergio Paulet. Whoa! And Herbert Geis is picking up a 10-second time penalty for overtaking by going off the track. Now, that is going to drop him out of a podium place, and that is going to be a bitter pill to swallow for Herbert Geis, who's being chased by Nobuhiro Imada. And car number 75, which is the car of Giacomo Rinaldo, is going to get a drive-through penalty. You'll see it on screen in a moment. There it is, for causing a collision. That's car number 75, the car driven by Giacomo Rinaldo. I'm not convinced I saw that, Oliver Fendel. Did you see that?
No. I'm surprised, and I'm sorry for not being that...
Well, don't be sorry, because I didn't see it either.
No, I'm also checking which penalties are in the room as well, because I expect some more because of the situation at the beginning of the race, and I think Max Mugelli and Danilo Del Favero should expect that they also get something. But we see one purple and one green, and these are exactly these two drivers.
Yes, so
heading behind them.
Personal best from Max Mugelli, best of anyone from Danilo Del Favero, who've got the bit between the teeth right now. Do you not think, though, Oliver Fendel, your years of experience, same as me, to be fair, but just sometimes race control are a bit more lenient on the opening lap because everyone is champing at the bit to get going.
Yeah, but
do you know what I mean?
But to be honest and to be fair,
yes,
they also have their rules, they have their lines the red lines you have not to cross, and I think when you have a start procedure, starting field where a car comes from the mid to the right to the left to the mid,
yeah,
then you maybe should raise your hand and say, hey, that's not the way we want to see, because at a track like here, it's difficult when you go into turn 1 or here in turn 3 and the field is already battling. That can happen so much what we not want to see.
Fair point. Is the top three then in the race overall, and the top three in Trofeo Pirelli is Hendrik Viol, Sergio Paulet and Fernando Monnier. And then we see Anders Bidstrup, then it's Michael Verhagen. There is Michael Verhagen, who, now bear in mind, if the race were to end right now and everything stayed this way, it would bring to an end a 4-race winning streak for Michael Verhagen, as sad to see Max Mugelli brings his car into the pit lane and the CDP Eureka competition team go to work on that car.
Yes.
So maybe a puncture.
Yeah, something. I think it's something from a hit at the beginning of the race he got. But yeah, if you risk much, you maybe get something like this. And Verhagen is also surprising me because he's slower, nearly 1 second compared to Bidstrup. What was not to expect, but he gets closer, as you can see here, the 33 getting closer to the car in front, and Yeah, he has more than 17 minutes time. Oh,
now
this looks good.
There you can see the reason for the drive-through penalty for car number 75. Any evidence you need of perhaps causing a collision, I think, is really rather displayed on the front of that car from Giacomo Rinaldo.
You mean it tells the story?
I think it rather does. So he takes his drive-through penalty. There's Sergio Paolo continuing to chase down Hendrik Viol, and he sets the fastest lap, but he's and well picked up by you, Oliver Fendel, but also setting a fastest lap has been Michael Verhagen in his chase on Anders Bidstrup as well. Sergio Paolo, Fernando Monnier is trying to keep with them, the Quadis Gallery and Goat Racing driver, who is chasing his Spanish compatriot, who's running P2 at the moment. But Hendrik Viol, I just think he seems to be able to manage this gap pretty much well. We're approaching about half distance of the race with Hendrik Viol, Sergio Paolo, and Fernando Monnier. The top three in the Pirelli drivers, then it's Anders Bidstrup, Michael Verhagen and Herbert Guys, but do bear in mind that Herbert Guys will drop down the order because he's got a 10-second penalty against him, so that will elevate Nobuhiro Imada, driver of the number 44 car, into a podium place, which will be his second podium of the season if it all stayed this way right now.
10-second penalty, which is, in my opinion, a bit too much. When you compare situations like this before, but in the end of the day, race control is the mastermind behind, and they say what they get, and here you see more and more
really on
pressure.
On the run up to T3. Sergio Paolo was able to really reel in Hendrik Viol like he was on the end of a fishing line.
And Monnier is coming
He is.
closer as well.
Max Mugelli, the team have worked on the car, and the CDP Eureka competition team have got the car back out again. Hendrik Viol all of a sudden is under real pressure now from two Spaniards right behind him. Sergio Paolo and Fernando Monnier are pushing Hendrik Viol right now. So Hendrik Viol then 4/10 to the good over Sergio Paolo and Fernando Monnier. But it was the run-up to turn 3 where Sergio Paolo had got a better exit out of turn 1, in my opinion. And he was really able to reel in Hendrik Viol, and I suspect that's going to continue for the next 15 minutes plus 1 lap. We do reach half distance now in this Ferrari Challenge Trofeo Pirelli and Pirelli Am race. Right, let's watch it here, Oliver Fendel, alongside me in our broadcast booth through turn 1, and we just move away from that shot just for a moment.
Yeah, because this is also getting interesting.
Lively, yeah.
Yeah, there you can see that the groups find them and they push each other. And I expect that we will see some overtaking in the next 2 laps. Replay now, yeah, there's one.
Bear in mind, Lucas Azato, you know, last time around when we were racing in Mugello, was a Copa-Shell Am driver. He's been moved up to Trofeo Pirelli. He put himself ahead of the number 24 car here, and just as Matt Rosner was about to turn in, he realized that the gap that he wanted to turn into was full of the 296 Challenge car of Lucas Azato, so therefore he couldn't turn into that gap. These three are cutting something of a dash, and they are miles ahead of anybody else in the race, but they're in their own little battle here. After saying that, Anders Bidstrup is beginning to reel all three of them in, because what will happen is the more these three fight, it slows them down a little bit, Oliver, and therefore Anders Bidstrup can get a tad closer.
And
yes,
behind him,
yes,
there's one more guy running with him in this speed. It is Michael Verhagen. Reduced the gap from 0.8 to 0.7, and now that's something like a preparation for the turn 3.
I agree with you. Fernando Monnier was just setting himself up, wasn't he? Let's ride on board with Fernando Monnier now. We go through the kink on the left-hand side about now, which is turn 2.
Now you feel the slipstream.
Dive to the inside. He's not quite close enough, I don't think.
No, but I think it was the plan to get closer.
Yes.
We have 3/10.
Was that a rehearsal for next lap?
Yeah. As a driver, to be honest, you try something, you look the lines, you push your person in front, make it little bit nervous.
Yeah.
The time he has is so much that he can wait next 10 minutes and play games with the people in front. That's easy. That's something here in Spielberg that really makes fun. If you have a good feeling with your car, you can play so easy games with your opponents, but you need to be confident with your car.
You do. You've got to have confidence in the grip that the car is going to offer you. You've also got to have confidence in your fellow drivers as well, because if you're going to go and make a move, you want respect.
There you see, he was outside the limits.
Yeah.
And that's one of these results, because he's with one eye. Good. Now both are outside.
Yes.
But he is watching with one eye on the mirror what the person behind him is doing.
Jacob Bidstrup, look, is beginning to reel in Nobuhiro Imada here. Now, there are consequences for this, because in the mix of it all, Herbert Guys, of course, who is the car ahead, he's got a time penalty to come. So Nobuhiro Imada at the moment is on for a podium position. But I think Jacob Bidstrup could be well aware of that as well.
And the interesting thing is, also he has the 10-second penalty.
Yes.
The group is just changing the positions, with Herbert Guys falling back behind them,
yes,
but not under the level of Lucas Asato, who's away more than 12 seconds.
You're right. Well picked up. I'm glad you're crunching all the times and data and numbers. So there you can see that Jacob Bidstrup is really pushing very, very hard right now in the number 40 car. Hendrik Viol, 7/10 ahead of Sergio Paulet, and it's exactly the same against Fernando Monnier. There is 1.4 seconds between P1 and P3 in the race overall, as we continue to watch Jacob Bidstrup chasing down Nobuhiro Imada. Nobuhiro Imada, as I mentioned, he's on for a podium here because Herbert Guys, who's the car that is running P3 on track, has got a 10-second time penalty to come, and that will be awarded at the end of the race. So as another lap is put in the book here, we've got 10 minutes plus 1 lap remaining. This is the Ferrari Challenge Trofeo Pirelli and Pirelli. We're live from the Spielberg circuit here in the Styrian region of Austria. Now, Sergio Paulet has dropped away a little bit from Hendrik Viol. As I just felt Fernando Monnier got closer to Sergio Paulet, and I think what's happening here, Oliver Fendel, is that Sergio Paulet is in this unenviable position of being the meat in the sandwich. He is hunting but being hunted at the same time. So whilst he's trying to attack Hendrik Viol in front, he's got to be ever minded of the fact that Fernando Monnier, like a viper, is ready to pounce as well.
You can compare it like the brake balance. Hunting at the moment 30%, being hunted 70%.
Yes.
And this is the result at the end of the day, that he's focused more behind, maybe being afraid that Monnier will attack him. Mm-hmm. Monnier, on his perspective, what we described before, can play the game. And the most relaxed person is Hendrik Viol,
who is, if I say, he's rubbing his hands with invisible soap here, because the more those two cars behind him fight...
I don't know if it is invisible. Maybe he has some
bar of soap inside the car. I think not. Yeah, but Hendrik Viol is able to take advantage of that, because the more those two fight behind, he is just able to focus on what he's doing and get up the road. 1 second is the margin between Hendrik Viol and Sergio Paulet over the timing line last time around. And we're into 8.5 minutes plus 1 lap, and we ride on board with Fernando Monnier, who brakes much later than Sergio Paulet into turn 3. That allows him to get closer, but I think Sergio Paulet has just a slightly better line out of the turn.
Bidstrup preparing.
He is. He's right on Nobuhiro Imada here.
Now it gets interesting. 4.6 at the beginning. At the end of the straight line, I think it's 0.3, something like this. He's really close. Yeah. And then I guess he will try in turn 1. If he sees that it is not possible, then he will continue uphill, and then the attack latest will follow.
maybe 7.
Just.
No,
if yes, then I play Lotto.
Thanks. So there is the number 40 car then of Jacob Bidstrup chasing down Nobuhiro Imada. So Nobuhiro Imada is having to defend as well. And you can see how it makes you as a racing driver somewhat slower when you have to defend rather than attack. And Nobuhiro Imada he's not been too focused on attacking Herbert Guys because it's been utterly futile. There's no point. Herbert Guys is already going to drop 10 seconds behind anyway, so what's the point? And he will have been told by the Formula Racing driver, just run your own race. Don't worry about the driver that's ahead of you because he's already got a penalty. 7 minutes and a lap remaining in this Ferrari Challenge Trofeo Pirelli and Pirelli Am racers Sergio Paulet, Hendrik Viol and Fernando Monnier. There is Claudia, and Claudia is Hendrik Viol's partner, and you can see the anxiety that's felt inside the garages. Also in there was Ivo Horn, who's head honcho at the Scuderia Prague racing team. And the loyalty between Hendrik Viol and Scuderia Prague. I mean, Scuderia Prague in the history of the Ferrari Challenge and lots of other GT racing have had such a rich vein of success with Ferrari, and Ivo Horn is a fantastic team principal, and I have to say I've enjoyed many a conversation, often in airport lounges with Ivo Horn. And we ride on board right now with Fernando Monnier, and you can see up to 240 kilometers per hour on the telemetry. And
Henrik Viol is pulling away. If you look at him,
yeah,
he's working on a gap more than 1 second, and Spaniard duo behind cannot answer at the moment, or will not answer. I don't know.
I just think. I don't know. I think you've got here 3 very, very good drivers that are able to drive within their own limits and within themselves, and that's what they're doing at the moment. Nobuhiro Imada still being chased down by Jacob Bidstrup, but Jacob Bidstrup has dropped back a little bit now, and we're just beginning to edge closer to the closing stages of this race. As we look at the time on the top left-hand side of your broadcast screen here, we have 5 minutes plus 1 lap remaining, precisely. And this Trofeo Pirelli Race 1 here at the Spielberg circuit in Austria has proven to be, from a very, very dramatic start, lots going on all the way through the race. And I suspect that's going to continue until the checkered flag flies on the start-finish straight, which is some 63.5 meters in elevation below the top of turn 3. Herbert Guys, you can see here ahead of Nobuhiro Imada and Jacob Bidstrup. Now on track, Herbert Guys has got the final podium place, but the 2 red bars alongside his name on the graphics on the left-hand side of your screen indicate that he has got 2 5-second time penalties, i.e. 10 seconds worth of penalty to come, which is going to drop him behind Nobuhiro Imada and Jacob Bidstrup and Matt Rosner, and mean that the final podium place, if everything were to stop right now, would go the way of Nobuhiro Imada. Is Sergio Paulet going to hold on until the final stages of this race, which start about now, to try and have a final go at trying to get past the car of Hendrik Viol? Or is he going to think, is he going to be clever here? If you're a racing driver, you want to win every race, irrespective. However, Sergio Paulet knows that Hendrik Viol is not going to be able to contest every single race in the championship this year. Therefore, is he going to think, do you know what, I'm better off, rather than binning it in an attempt to win it, I might be better off just banking the points for P2? Or is that something that's not even in the psyche of a racing driver, Oliver Fendel? Because bear in mind, Sergio Paulet has taken 3 race wins and a P2 thus far.
I'm thinking about, yes, you are right. Normally, if the championship is close, then you maybe do it this way and save the 2nd place. But
it's too early to be talking about the championship, isn't it?
Maybe yes, maybe not.
Okay.
I think he has such a comfortable situation in the championship that he can risk to get more. And here you see in front.
Yeah.
He tried.
Oh,
and now he is there.
This is as close as he's got. He's right on the coattails of Hendrik Viol now. He goes for the outside line. Hendrik Viol has got the inside line as they go into turn 3. And side by side they go. Hendrik Viol, though, has got the inside line going into turn number 4. He squeezes Sergio Paulo just a little bit, and that certainly wasn't intentional because Hendrik Viol is one of the fairest drivers I've ever had the privilege of talking about. But Sergio Paulo is utterly determined. Forget everything I was saying about thinking of the long game and banking the points. He wants to win the race here, Oliver Fendel. There's no question about that. But equally so, as Claudia and Ivo look on from the garage of Scuderia Prague, there is no doubt about it. With under 2 minutes plus 1 lap remaining, Sergio Paulo is going for it in the final stages of this race to try and wrestle that lead away from Hendrik Viol, the Scuderia Prague driver, driving against the Ineco Reparto Corsa Ram driver, Sergio Paulo. Paulo doing the chasing. Hendrik Viol trying to metaphorically stick his elbows out and make his 296 Challenge car just a tad wider than it is. If my calculations are correct, when Hendrik Viol crosses the line now, we will have 2 more laps to do. So it will be this lap plus the +1 lap, Oliver. So he's got to defend his position for 2 laps.
I guess Paulo got a signal from the garage that he now has to attack if he wants to fight for the win. And his team boss is experienced enough to see the right moment here. Now he goes inside, or tries to go inside, but it was too slow for him. It's dancing.
Hendrik is defending that position, but Sergio Paulo has got those.
No chance.
No. He's going to be on the outside for turn 4, and that's a long way around the outside.
It's not clever. It's not so clever with Hendrik. Yeah, exactly because of this.
That's another door mirror gone for a Burton.
If you are inside at the end of the Schönberg straight,
yes,
you have no chance because you were sliding so much out, and it in 90% goes with a collision, and we saw it here. And it was a slight collision with good luck for him, but he knows that Hendrik Viol is committed to defend, but we will be at the next level now to attack.
Sergio Paulo's driver coach is, of course, Giorgio Sanaggiotto, who's done a bit of racing himself, hasn't he? He kind of knows what he's talking about. This is how close it's getting in this hugely exciting Trofeo Pirelli battle.
This is what I meant. You cannot hold your car in your line.
Right, was I correct in terms? Yes, I was in terms of the timing. We are on the final lap. So for Sergio Paulo, it's now or never. On the run-up towards turn number 3, he will try and get the draft off the back of the Hendrik Viol car. Hendrik Viol will try and maintain his position and hold that inside line. You can see the car squealing under protest. Now, if Sergio Paulo could get to the inside of Hendrik Viol, but Hendrik dives to the inside to protect that inside line, turn 4.
Once again, the same situation. Now
side by side they go. If Sergio Paulo is able to make this work around the outside, now he's deserving of it.
Now he will fight again, and then he pushes him out. Yeah.
What a phenomenal fight it's been between these 2 drivers. It's Hendrik Viol, P1, Sergio Paulo P2, Fernando Monye just watching this from a couple of car lengths behind, thinking, wow, what a battle. I wish I could be part of this. But the pace that these 2 drivers have got is extraordinary. And it has been so close. There, into the Scuderia Prague garage we go. Just keep it calm, keep it calm, keep it calm. You can almost hear the team radio, can't you? Where can Sergio Paulo? I think he's lost his best opportunity. I don't think he's going to have another chance here.
There will not be one more attack. Well deserved.
Here comes Hendrik Viol heading towards the checkered flag, and Sergio Paulo, give them both the checkered flag because it has been a brilliant race between those 2 drivers. Claudia, Hendrik's partner, will be thrilled and delighted with that. There she is. It was an awesome race between both of the drivers. It really was. Hendrik Viol returns to the Ferrari Challenge as a race winner ahead of Sergio Paulo and Fernando Monye. For our AM drivers, you forgive me, but it is going to be Anders Bidstrup that does take the win and stops Michael Verhagen's non-stop winning streak. And it's going to be a double Bidstrup podium because Jacob Bidstrup was able to get by Nobuhiro Imada. Forgive us, please, that we didn't see that, but the reason we didn't see that was because we had to follow that Hendrik Viel, Sergio Paulet battle. I'm going for a lie down. What a race.
Yeah, and what was great with unexpected results, to be honest. If you would have asked me before the race, I would not say that Anders Bidstrup has a chance against Michael Verhagen, but he proved that he has. And Hendrik Viol, yeah, we know he's a strong driver and well deserved, because with these fights, and if you win these fights, then you are for sure the right winner of this race. And what's also interesting is that when they accelerate, Viol and Paulet, Fernando Monnier was not able to follow them, and that's something that's also surprised me, to be honest. Maybe it's in general surprising. Yeah, interesting constellation for tomorrow, because when it's dry again, then we will see again some nice battles. If it's not dry, then we see much more.
You've qualified it now. I was going to say ye of meteorological confidence when it's dry again tomorrow. Let's see. What a race. I so enjoyed that. And well done to all the drivers.
Do you know what I enjoyed as well?
Go on.
Being here with you. It was a great pleasure. Thank you, Dave.
Stop it. I'm beginning to well up. I can feel a tear. Absolutely awesome. It's why we love Ferrari Challenge. And the Trofeo Pirelli and Pirelli Am drivers did an awesome job today. They really, really did. Credit to Hendrik Viol and credit to Sergio Paulet. What a race. I mean, it was fraught, but I think it was fair between them.
Yeah, it definitely was fair.
It
was intense, yes. Both lost their mirrors, but end of the day, it's racing. It's not every time soft.
Oh, that was brilliant. I was having a conversation with Hendrik Viol earlier on, and I mean, I'm so pleased that Hendrik is back racing again, because yeah, and Sergio Paulet threw everything at it that he could. And well done to Anders Bidstrup. I mean, the Bidstrup brothers, look, they're both of them going to be on the podium, but for the driver of the number 29 car, he's had a second place, but now he's got first place, and it's richly deserved. Here's confirmation of the results then for our Ferrari Challenge Trofeo Pirelli and Pirelli Am race. Hendrik Viol ahead of Sergio Paulet, Fernando Monnier. Then for our Am drivers, Anders Bidstrup, Michael Verhagen and Jacob Bidstrup. Then it was Nobuhiro Imada. Herbert Geiser, of course, had a 10-second time penalty, which toppled him down the order, as it were. And finishing ahead of Lucas Azzato, who takes P9 overall. And then it was Matt Rossner, Giacomo Ronaldo, Danilo Del Favro, Max Mugelli.
And if you take a look to Lucas Azzato, compared to the last races, today he would not have been in the position to fight for a podium again in the M class. So
I agree. Right, we're going to hear from the winners of both of those races, the Pirelli race and the Pirelli Am race. For Hendrik Viol, I'm absolutely thrilled as he returns to racing. He, of course, took the Pirelli Am Championship last year. He's elevated to Pirelli this year, and he won't be contesting every race, but he'll want to win every one he does, like this one.
Hendrik, congratulations. What an incredible race for you today. You make a perfect start, and until the end, especially in the last laps of the race, you defend in the best way your position. So very congratulations.
Thank you very much. It was a very fun race. Great start, and I couldn't imagine, I think, a better comeback than it was today. The last 3 laps, they were really hard. Rear tires, they were gone. But I had a lot of fun. That's how racing should be. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Hendrik Viol, you're absolutely right. That's how racing should be. And this man is going to be absolutely delighted. Anders Bidstrup. And not only is Anders taking the win, but Jacob Bidstrup, his brother, is taking P3. So both of the Bidstrup brothers are going to be on the podium. They will be thrilled about this. They're really, really lovely guys. And Anders Bidstrup is standing by to tell all to Ludovica. Oh.
Congratulations! What an incredible day for you and your brother. We saw the hug with your brother here in the Parc Fermé. So I want to discover with you your feeling and how do you build this race?
It was an amazing feeling. We have had a good weekend. 2 dry sessions, 2 wet sessions. Unfortunately, the second wet session I crashed the car, but they fixed it very well, the team, and I was fast today, so I'm more than happy. And of course also happy with my brother, who is also at the podium right now. It's perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ferrari Challenge, Trofeo Pirelli and Pirelli Am ready to get going. The first race of the weekend in track conditions, which are better than expected as the lights go out. Let's go racing. Hendrik Viol absolutely determined right at the very start, trying to find a way past Sergio Paolo. A little bit of a touch between the two of them. Danilo Del Favaro moving up about 5 or 6 places at the same time, but then makes contact here with Sergio Paulet, and that will be a disaster for Danilo Del Favaro as Hendrik Viol then on his return to racing is escaping up the road. Driver of the number 92 car won the Pirelli Am Championship last year, but Sergio Paulet, of course, wants to have something to say about that because he's taken 3 wins out of 4 race starts. He wants one here at Spielberg. So Hendrik having to make the car as wide as possible to deny Sergio Paulet the opportunity to come through here. Sergio Paulet certainly doing the chases and doing the chases. So as they head down towards turn number 4, is Sergio Paulet going to be able to make it all the way around the long turn 4? I don't think so, surely. Hendrik Viol, indeed, with that inside line, is able to just hold on to that P1 place and was able to do so to the checkered flag. As Hendrik Viol won in Trofeo Pirelli and Anders Bidstrup would be the winner in Pirelli Am. We'll be heading up to the podium next. And Michele Mambelli will be standing by to bring all our drivers out onto the podium
and
to
now
receive
we are for the
their
podium,
prizes.
Main class Pirelli. Third on the podium, Fernando Monge. Second, Sergio Paulet. Hendrik Viol. On podium, Scuderia Praha. And now, national anthem. I nostri applausi, our claps for the winners, and the trophy are presented
Applausi.
by
That
Giancarlo
means clap,
Fisichella,
please.
Ferrari ambassador driver.
Giancarlo Fisichella, Ferrari ambassador driver, then making the trophy presentation to Fernando Monge for P3.
Giancarlo Fisichella.
And right now is Sergio Paulet. He is well deserving of that trophy for P2.
Spain, and from Czech Republic, the winner.
Hendrik Viol on the top step of the podium.
Viol.
Well done, Hendrik.
The trophy for the team, Scuderia Praha. And now the driver on the first step of the podium, Giancarlo, and team manager.
Well done to Scuderia Praha, who of course
Pirelli trophy,
received the trophy
Pirelli
for
trophy,
co-team
Federico
Oliver,
Artorino,
and
please,
richly deserved
Pirelli
of that as well.
trackside engineer.
Definitely was an entertaining race. Many things to discuss after and to enjoy as well in the replays.
Okay, lift your trophy.
Well deserved
Lift
for all
your
the
trophy, and now
drivers here on the
we
top
are ready
step
for the photo and
of the
imaging
podium,
from
because all 3
Spielberg
are on the
circuit.
top step on the
and now
first
the guest can leave
place.
the podium.
So, yeah.
Wait, driver, wait, okay.
number 1,
This
that's
guest
in
leave,
my
and
opinion
now
also
countdown.
the number for the race, because
3,
it was
2,
really,
1,
really good.
0.
Now,
Champagne.
Who won that? I wasn't looking momentarily.
man in red.
Sergio Paulet. Okay. Well done to all the drivers for giving us such a Such a phenomenal race to enjoy. And that really was a truly epic Ferrari Challenge Trofeo Pirelli and Pirelli Am race. Don't get many of them to the pound, boy. Someone would once say to me, Oliver Fendel, you don't get many of them to the pound, boy.
I just say I cannot wait until tomorrow to see again something like this racing here. Rubbing, racing.
Rubbing
winning.
is racing, isn't it? Rubbing is racing. Come on. And I think that was a fraught race between those two drivers, but both of them will admit that was the way they would want to win a race. We've still got another podium to come for our AM drivers. Here's Michele Mambelli again.
The winners, third on the podium, Jakob Bistrup.
There's Jacob Bidstrup then. Yeah, go on, milk it, friend. Milk it.
And the second driver, Michael Verhagen.
Michael Verhagen. Now, this is the first time this
Michael
season
Verhagen second,
that we
on
haven't
the
seen him on the
podium.
top step of the
And
podium. And look,
winners
he's the first to go over and
is
congratulate Jacob.
And he can smile also. And he is the smiling guy.
Team manager.
Look at
what he wants to see.
Look at the camaraderie there is between competitors.
Okay,
This is fantastic.
National anthem. Clubs,
You could see Tor Qualman there from the Formula Racing organisation, who, of course, to be fair, is having a really good time of it because he's got two of his drivers, P1 and P3 on that podium, as Giancarlo Fisichella is dishing out the trophies once again. Our Ferrari ambassador driver, an all-round good bloke, Giancarlo Fisichella. And may I say, he ain't a bad DJ either. He can spin a tune or two, I'll tell you.
Team manager Formula Racing.
So our evening program is fake.
He'll be cross with me for saying that. I can remember being in Finale Mondiale at Daytona with Giancarlo Fisichella on the decks, and I offered to support him.
And now
And he said, it's okay, we're busy. Pirelli trophy dished out as well, thanks to our Pirelli partners as well. Copa Team trophy awarded, and the drivers very, very happy on that Trofeo Pirelli podium. Trofeo Pirelli podium, of course, with Anders Bidstrup, Michael Verhagen, Jacob Bidstrup. And our race winner wins the Champagne race as well, Anders Bidstrup then. And here we can see the cars that propelled their drivers to their respective podium positions. For Formula Racing, Jacob Bidstrup, P3. For Ferrari Warsaw. Hello, Bartosz. Hope you're doing all right. I know you'll be watching this from Warsaw. And yeah, Michael Verhagen. And hello to Charlotte Verhagen as well, taking P2 from Michael. And on the top step of the podium, many, many congratulations to Anders Bidstrup, race winner. Let's take a look at the Drivers' Championship points right now. It's going to be Michael, for Trofeo Pirelli, it's going to be Sergio Paolo, of course, on the top step of the championship podium. Lucas Azzato, P2, by dint of him taking the points with him from his previous categorization. Then it's Max Mugelli. We'll take a look at the AM points as well, where Michael Verhagen is indeed P1, Herbert Guy is P2, but Anders Bidstrup all of a sudden launches himself 2 places up to P3 in terms of the Drivers' Championship, and Danilo Del Favaro goes down 1 place. We are not even midway through the season yet, so the championship is going to be absolutely electric all the way until the finish of the season. We have had some epic racing here this afternoon. Hope you've enjoyed it as much as we have enjoyed bringing it to you. We have more races to come tomorrow from Copa Shell and Copa Shell Am, and of course Trofeo Pirelli and Trofeo Pirelli Am. Joining me on the air this afternoon has been my German broadcast colleague, Oliver Fendel, as we see the emotions and discover them right around the paddock as they form so much part of our racing heritage. Thank you so much for watching. We look forward to seeing you tomorrow from both of us. Goodbye.